Okay, so now we're going to move on to the gold. This is a little bit, little more exact. This stuff dries really quickly, so you can pretty much just start in as soon as you're done and just start where you started, and because that part is probably already dry. And this is, again, this is old gold, and we're just going to start over here because that's where I started, and just a real quick, don't even need to go all the way along the edges on this one, just on the top, just to make it a little bit different, because this is a pretty special box, so it has gold and a little bit of silver on it, and whoa, chase the paintbrush. So anyhow, so just real quickly go over it. Nothing too terribly, doesn't have to be, well, you want it to look good, but it doesn't have to be, you know, too terribly precise. Just, and if any of them fall off, well, you know, 1,000-year-old egg box. How many times can I say that in one video? Oh, I'm sure there's many more opportunities. Okay, so this one isn't quite dry, so it didn't take the color, but we can always go over it again later. Okay, so now we're going to take our, licorice, and licorice is a little trickier to paint than I found, so I used a mahogany color, Lustr dust, and I mixed it with a little black just to get it kind of ugly. You really want it to be kind of, you know, you want it to stand out so that it shows, you know, you want it to be aged, and I think this makes a perfect rope. I really do, better than trying to extrude fondant out of your little gun and squishing it. Yeah, licorice is awesome. The kids like it. Everybody will eat it. Of course, they'll have black around their face, but that's okay because you're not going to be there to see it, right? It's all good. So, but everything on this cake is edible. That's what I love about this cake. And I try to make most of my cakes that way. I try to leave them, make everything edible as much as humanly possible. So, because even if it's not edible, they'll try to eat it. And that's, you know, you want them to have a good experience with your cake, your family and friends and everybody else. Okay, so here's that mahogany, and I'm just going to use the same brush because every little bit of color helps. So, oh no, I have a brush here that I already used. Duh. Gee, Valerie. Okay, so just do some there, add a little bit of black. Looks like we're going to need a little more alcohol. One for you, one for me. Oh, no, sorry. Okay, so we're just going to paint that on, just like that. And it gives it kind of a dark, you can really mostly see the mahogany in there, but that's okay. That's what you're looking for. So make sure you get those ends. And maybe go over that one again, just to see how, you know, there he is. And that's going to dry pretty quickly. It shouldn't get sticky and gnarly, even though it's sugar and it's licorice. It should be fine. So there we go. There's our rope. Yeah. Once it dries, then we can put it all together because you really don't want to be pushing up against it. But we're going to use chocolate to put it together. So I'm going to melt some chocolate, put it in a piping bag, and we'll be back to assemble this thing, okay? Okay, while we're waiting for this to dry, let's go ahead and get started on our dinosaur eggs because those take a while to set up and you have to cover them with modeling chocolate, and they're kind of a process. So let's go ahead and do it. So depending on the size of your cake, you can get all different size eggs. If you want to do a really miniature version of this, you can get those little Easter egg molds, the little tiny ones, and they're perfect for this. Or you can get great big ones and do huge eggs, which is what I did with the cake for my son. So, but this is a pretty good size egg, and it'll fit 3 of them on the top of the cake and look really cool. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to use the crisp rice cereal treats, just the standard recipe. And I like to spray my hands a little bit with Pam or use butter, whichever, just so it doesn't stick to me as badly as it can, as we all know. And you might want to spray the inside of your mold as well, just to save yourself some grief. Now these work a whole lot better when they're still warm, so you could put them in the, yeah, let's heat them up just for just a quick, maybe like 5 seconds, just enough to get them so that they're more pliable and you don't end up with great big gaps. Okay, you don't want to get them too hot because then you'll burn yourself, and that's never fun. So, okay, yeah, I think that's better. So, okay, so what you're going to do, you're just going to lay them in there best you can and try to get them fairly flat. And, you know, when you're doing a lot of these, I just go ahead and I try not to let them, I don't want to take them out of the mold too soon because sometimes they'll slump and then you end up with kind of a funny looking shape. So try to keep them in the mold as much as you possibly can. So I just do the one side, and then I come over and I do the other side. You can do them both at the same time.